In our Chapter 1 file, we're looking at a worksheet called Debug Formulas. Let's imagine we've been working with this worksheet for a while. We've got a few things figured out. There's a formula in cell D13 that's been a problem, though. We know that number is not right. Maybe it's based on our instinct or our analysis of some other data. We're trying to figure out what's going on here. Now, when you edit a formula, and particularly if it's a longer formula, I would strongly suggest zoom in. One way to do this, by the way, is to hold down the Control key and roll that wheel on top of the mouse. Let's zoom in here. Now, we can do editing within the formula bar, but often, and particularly if you've zoomed in, it's going to be easier and clearer if you double-click a cell. So I'm going to double-click cell D13. Now, sometimes when you're trying to figure out why a formula isn't giving you a correct answer, it's helpful to be able to evaluate portions of it. Maybe if I know the result of this calculation, it might help. So I'm highlighting these cells. Remember, I'm in edit mode. I'll press the function key F9. Now, maybe that tells me something, maybe it doesn't. If it does, maybe I'll say, aha, I'll escape, get out of here, and make some adjustments. But I'm not sure yet, so I'll undo this with Control Z. If I knew this particular result right here, maybe that would be helpful. Once again, press the function key F9. And that answer, again, might have turned on that proverbial light bulb, maybe not, still not sure. Control Z. So you can imagine approaching this at different times based on your knowledge of the worksheet and some of the data. How about this average over here? Maybe that's telling. If I knew what that was, that would help. Highlight that, press the function key F9. Aha, I figured out what it was. You wouldn't be interested, but I'm out of here. It's important when you're doing this too, once you've realized what the issue is, if you have, escape rather than pressing enter. If I press enter right now, I've destroyed this portion of the formula and just putting in a raw number instead. So a lot of times you'll just want to press escape to get out. Let's go back and edit again, double click. The other thing to be careful with, although you can certainly work around it, if you highlight an incoherent portion, in other words, if you highlight a portion of this that wouldn't make sense as a formula by itself, if I highlight this data, for example, with the leading division symbol and press the function key F9, I get a completely misleading message here. Just escape here, reconsider what you've highlighted, begin over again. And certainly you can't highlight these sets of characters as well. Same sort of thing would happen. Usually that's fairly obvious. So it's a valuable tool for figuring out what's going on. Now, sometimes you might be working with formulas that involve logicals. And so in this same worksheet off to the right, in cell R1, once again, double click. Now, I want to know what this is equal to. In this case, it's not going to be a number. It's going to be something like, as I press the function key F9, that's either true or false. And that too could raise the red flag, or I could be saying to myself, oh yeah, that should be true. What's going on here? Once again, we could come back, double click to edit again. We could have highlighted just this portion of that. I'll press the function key F9. False, really? That should be true. I should go analyze the data and figure it out. So you can see at different times how valuable this could be. If that didn't cause the problem, I'll press Control Z and maybe consider a bigger portion of this. Now, this is a fairly long formula. I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but nevertheless, different portions of it at different time will make some sense if you understand what that portion of the formula is doing. And if you knew what the result was, maybe you could reconsider, reconstruct the formula, take a look at your data, possibly start all over. And here's another group out there. Is that true? Highlight that, press the function key F9. So I think you could see in a number of different situations how this debugging capability, while editing, highlighting portions of the data, pressing the function key F9 to figure out what that portion is equal to, and then proceeding from there.